Good morning, party people. I am in the rainy Seattle area. It's a little chilly today. Fun in the sun on the beach has ended. Anyway, if for some reason I do not contact you today and you are within an hour's drive of Seattle, hit me up tonight so I don't miss you. Send me a text or call me. I have found that my organizational method is flawed. I got this little teeny notebook. I should have got a full size one so I could keep everybody on one page. I got pages scattered around in this little teeny notebook. I gotta go get that fixed, man, because that is a disaster. Anyway, I gotta meet with a couple people today, take care of a couple things. I hope to meet with more people tomorrow and the day after, at least. I know I have at least 10 people within an hour's drive of the Seattle area. So if you don't hear from me by this evening around 8 or 9 o'clock, go ahead and send me a message. Now, I like to say good morning. It's not really morning, folks on the East Coast. Now that I'm on the West Coast, I'm finally getting over my jet lag, but I'm still posting these videos here on the West Coast in the morning. Not so much morning east of this Pacific Standard Time zone. So just for yourself for that. You guys are getting videos later and later. But hey, having a great time. Also wanted to let you know a few of the video clips in this video were somehow overexposed. I put my phone in my pocket. It shouldn't do things while it's in there. This crazy thing does all kind of stuff. I pull my phone out of my pocket. There's like 62 windows open, all kind of settings changed. I didn't realize that, but that is a minor issue with this video. It's still visible, still okay content, so that's that. Now, a couple people have asked when I'm going to do the formal reveal of my new ride. I've told you folks several times that is in the Patreon site. If you want to pay a couple bucks to see it, great. If not, I understand. I will do a public reveal of the ride and those clips when I get back home. Several weeks. I'm not in a hurry to get back home, but that's when that'll be revealed. I've paid several $1,000s to see the ride. If you want to pay $2 to see it now, pay $2 to see it now. If you want to wait, see it for free, wait, see it for free. That's okay too. No big deal. There's a couple things about the ride I'm trying to keep under wraps to surprise people as I travel around. You know, most people that seen it was pleasantly surprised. Not a real big deal. It's a car, just having a little fun. So again, if you are on the West Coast from Seattle all the way down to San Diego, I didn't bring my passport with me, so I'm not crossing any borders. I am available to possibly help you, connect with you, do a meet and greet, anything like that. On into Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, anything south of I-70 where we can actually get something done if the weather permits. I don't want to be in an area where it's snowing and trying to do somebody's brake job. No fun in that. Not that people couldn't use the help. It's just, if you got to do a brake job, you need to find a garage. That's just being realistic. So anyway, I'm traveling. Here's my number. Go ahead and call or text if you want to connect. Again, trying to get this stuff organized. I'm going to Home Depot, buy some more supplies. I come out here tool light. You'd be surprised by the amount of tools I got through the airport, but I'm still tool light. Like today I need a drill. I don't have one. So I got to figure that out. So, I had a guy that needed me to pull a window. I spent $120, pull a window for him. It's a 5-minute little job. So I'll tool up if I have to, help somebody out. Of course, I can use that tool that I purchased to help him probably many times over. Tool I needed, but I don't have some of my tools I'd like to make. Somebody suggested that I do a manual swap on the road. Man, I have no desire for this car to break down. Transmission has been acting up. Hopefully my last transmission fluid replacement makes that better. But I have no plans to be replacing the transmission on the side of the road with half my tools and none of the equipment I need, as well as the parts that I need. So that's just not something I desire to get into. I don't need to be on that map. But thanks for the recommendation. So anyway, hope to connect with any of you guys out here that are in my path of travel, and hope you enjoy today's clips. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Well, party people, looks like the tide is out on the beach. The guy that is hosting us said that it goes in and out a couple times a day, like every 8 hours. So you can see the wetness of the sand. That's where it's coming into. The waves are. But when the tide is in, it comes in all the way up to where that sand color changes. So you got about 200 yards difference right here and where we are right now between the tide being out and in. So you want to be careful, they say, because a wave could come up past the tide line. Not likely, but it can. So you could probably outrun it if you're still in the condition where you could run. But anyway, that's where the beach line is at this moment. Walking along where the water has been recently, it's kind of firm sand. Where you walk away from the water, where it's been kind of drying, the sand is soft and you sink into it. So most people walk a little closer to the water so it could be a little firmer than the powdery stuff up here to the left. You can see my footprints getting a little deeper as I get closer to the dry sand up here, and it'll get deeper yet when I hit this dry stuff. It's dry and almost powdery. I'm even slinging sand in front of me. Should get real deep here. It's not as bad as I thought, but it's got another level of deepness up there. See how deep my footprint's getting now? And as I get further away from the water, it'll get a little deeper. There they are, getting a little deeper. The wind has actually packed this down a little bit, or it'd even be deeper than that. And that's my trail going back up to the property. So let me go ahead and climb these stairs. I'll try to count them, see how many stairs I got to take to get back up to the road. 113 up to this landing that I'm at. And there's a few steps down. Eight steps down, and there's a trail going up to that last house up there. Then I got some more steps up there. Coming up this hill, slight hill, also 12 steps. Then you got a bench you could take a rest on. Then you could take these steps up to that road. Then another back set of steps. But I'm gonna go this way up this hill to that house there and hit those steps around there, take a steep hill on the street. 41 more steps to get up to this road, and I don't know if I want to count this as a step or not. Step. Then it's all paths from here up to the next road, which goes to the property. Here's the road up to the property. Yes, it's as steep as it looks. I guess a good thing would be to check elevation. I assume that's sea level down there where the ocean is, and we'll check elevation up here at the property. Gotta walk around the corner and up this hill a little bit to to get to the property. I think this outside bend is better. And I didn't think my car was gonna make it up here. I really didn't. This thing is steep. And right where you see that little red Volvo, that's where the property is, behind that sign. I can't see my car at the garage yet though. In this video, we're going to replace the shifter indicator light bulb under there that illuminates this in the evening while you're driving. I think the best solution for that is just to manual swap the car, but some people are a little stubborn and they just rather replace the light bulb. First thing you want to do is open up your armrest. Got a little tab there next to your cup holder. Open this armrest up. Take those two T25 screws out, set that aside, put the screws back in the armrest. If you don't do this, you're probably going to push back on this armrest and break the back of the center console out, which will then suck because the armrest will always flat back. Next, you're going to pop this panel open, put a little screwdriver in there, twist it, pop that up, and you got two 8mm screws under there that hold this center console down and in place actually. Next, you want to pull this trim piece here at your handbrake toward the driver's seat. I normally pinch it like this, pull it to the side. You see it unlatching there. Pull it on the bottom part there. And sometimes you can put something in there, a trim clip puller, and pull it out to the side. Be careful, you break these tabs off and then it won't sit back in right. You lift this up and you grab this boot and you slide it over the parking brake deal. Get that out of the way. Next, unplug these two harnesses. These harness power everything in here. You push that little tab down, unplug it, push that little tab down, push that down, and you can do that with your finger. Now this is unplugged. This thing will actually come out of here now. I put the key in the ignition, put my foot on the brake, shift this all the way back, and then this lift up out of there. This will lift up and out of there without unplugging anything else. And there you have it. Easy peasy. Now if you look down here, there's that light bulb assembly. You simply grab that and push it down. It pulls that light out of that socket. Now you unplug the bulb, put in a new one, reach down there and stick that back down in there, and you're more than halfway home. You could test it if you want. Turn the lights on, make sure it works. So I turned the parking light on just now. It did not work. So we'll see if it works when we turn the key on. Okay. Still didn't work. So we're going to get the light bulb and swap that light bulb out. That's the bulb that we got from IPD right there. That's what it looks like on your website. There'll be links to the comments to other sources to get that if you like. And he's going to unplug that thing. Just pulls it out and put it aside. Plug the other one in.
It goes in one way.
And that's it. We're going to turn the light on to parking lot position, and there it is. It works. Got to have the key and accessory and the parking light on to test the bulb. So now we're going to slide it back in that hole down there.
I didn't see the hole.
And hook this stuff back up. So there's the bulb there, nothing special. It just slides in and out of that holder there. Just put that in there like that. Slide it up in there and you're good to go. Do, 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 do. See, comes out. Just slide it up in that hole there. And push it up as far as it'll go. And it takes my hand a different direction there. Ooh. There you have it. It's all the way in. So this plastic tip here goes down here and goes in a hole. That's what holds the front end. The back end is held in by those two screws in the armrest area. And that's it. So you don't have to undo none of this stuff to get that out of there. We're going to plug that back in there, set this down. Those screws screw here, and then plug that in and put the boot back on. When you lower this piece of this trim here it kind of channels into the front piece. So work that down on both sides. Make sure the carpet goes under the console. Then you plug your 2 plugs in. Screw your 2 screws in. Slide your boot back over your handle. And then clip that back in on the side. This piece of trim has those tips there. And under here, they have a couple of guides. 2 there, 2 there. That go into these holes here. 2 holes here, 2 holes down there. So that locks in and stays neat for you. And then you just pop that panel back in after you got those screws in. And then you screw your armrest back on. Kick off the morning on the new ride. We're going to do the timing and the struts. So I'm getting ready to align the timing, jack the car up, pull this wheel off, and pull the spark plugs because I got new plugs, and just start doing this timing belt water pump job. Set the timing with my little marker pen. I marked them. Not sure why I have a glare here, but as you can see, that roller, that's what the original one looks like. The water pump's original, it's missing cogs. And that little clip in that hydraulic tensioner is actually slid up on the shaft. It's not seated all the way down on there. I don't see that too often. That was strange. But found a lot of mud in the car. A lot of mud caked in there. A lot of mud and dirt up to here. That is covered with mud. I'm starting to wonder if maybe this car was buried in the mud somewhere. Heck, there's a lot of mud up there that could have been slung up there, but man, that looks like it was caked in mud all up in here. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's definitely a lot of mud in there. And the bottom of the car has a lot of mud on it. I don't know if that's dirt or what. So anyway, I'm gonna take this strut out, replace it. And that mount is bad. I don't think I have one of those. I might. And let me take this timing belt stuff apart. See that harmonic balancer look like it's starting to crack as well. That's the tip of that thing leaning up on there. Whoever put that on, maybe at the factory, didn't put it on all the way. That's the belt. A few cracks on it. Not too bad, but it is cracked up. And I'm ready to take these 2 off of here, these 2 rollers. Then get that water pump. I'm going to jack the engine up and swap that bolt out in that lower mount. Got a lot of rust on these bolts. We're cleaning those threads up. We're going to knock the dirt off of these threads, knock the dirt off of that thread, and maybe get this stuff loose so I can replace it. This mount here is a little worn because that nut is falling down to the arch in the mount. However, I'm going to jack this side of the engine up a little bit so that I can have easier access to the water pump bolts and things. You can get access to different things this way. You pull these 2 bolts out, you jack the engine up so that this hole in the mount is lined up with the lower hole in the bracket on the engine, and then put that in. That'll raise the engine up a good inch, allow you to, again, work on the water pump, get the bolts out of this lower mount, and all manner of things. Give you just a little bit more room down here. Sometimes an inch makes a big difference. Here's the idler roller. Spin as fast as you can. How long was that going to last before
Not very long.
come apart?
Sounds like it's got gravel in it.
Yeah. It's bad business, man. Can't be driving across the country like that. Look at that gasket, people. Bingo, it's my birthday. It's got to be my birthday. There it is, folks. Aisin water pump. This is the only water pump I would consider installing on a white block car. If I get to your location and you have a different brand water pump, this or Volvo, sad to say, I will not install that on your car. We'll have a nice meet and greet, and I'll go on my way, or you'll find one of these pumps if you need my help with it. Here I am, cleaned up enough for me, ready to roll. I just kind of brushed over that since the gasket came off, just to polish that up a little bit. Now I'm going to put the water pump on, torque those bolts. got that gasket on there. It was tight going over those pins for some reason. Not sure why, but it's pressed in place. Now I'm going to set the water pump on there and tighten this down. Weird on that gasket. And here is the Volvo grinded off the pump and the date stamp on it. 21 year, 02 month. If you're in the tight and you go to the junkyard, look for that date. You want one 5 years old or newer. Put on your car, you should be good to go until you can afford a new one. And there are the new bolts versus the old bolts. The housing on the water pump is thinner, so these bolts do not have a shoulder, and they're about 3 or 4 threads shorter. So you can save these bolts and put them in your thermostat housing. Get rid of those T40 Torx, is which I'm about to do. Got the water pump torqued on. Put some light on there so you can see that crank mark. Make sure your crank mark is on. See that little notch up there where that dimple is? Crank mark is right on. I'm gonna put these idler, tensioner, everything in place, and we'll put that belt on and double check this timing, because this exhaust cam likes to move. Don't look like it moved on this one, but it normally does. Should have took all the spark plugs loose so I wouldn't have compression in there, but we'll go ahead and do that before we roll it around. Look like we somehow had a little birdie down there. My turbo routing lines are starting to rot away. One fell off, and I had something going on in my air box here. Bunch of crap in there. I'm ready to clean out. I'm getting ready to replace the spark plug wires and spark plugs, but I failed to get the coil wire when I bought the spark plug wire, so I'll have an old coil wire and new spark plug wires. Interesting. Oil cap gasket. See that oil sitting down in the rim of that? It's coming right out of this old hard gasket. Things all flattened out and everything. Replace those every couple years. They're only $2-3. They did not have a cap in stock, so I got the rotor, and we had a bunch of carbon buildup on the tips of that, so we cleaned those off. They look really good now, and we're going to replace the rotor, some people call it button, and got this cap cleaned up. We're going to change these wires. I got newer wires. I got an old coil wire, and check the gap on these plugs real quick. I got a 32, a 33, a 30, a 31, and a 30. Not as bad as I thought. Checked them with my new gapper. Man, number 4, a lot of oil down there. So I don't know, this could have been filled with a lot of oil and they mopped it up, but it doesn't really look like it. Not sure why so much oil was down in that one. Maybe it's just something that didn't get cleaned up once upon a time. Let me see if it smells like fuel. It smells a little bit like fuel, but it's more oil than fuel. Volvo plugs. Volvo came out. Volvo going back in. Simply the best. Better than all the rest. These things, man, I've seen them run up to 60,000 miles. The turbos have a single tip. The non-turbos, NAs, have a multiple tip. Original rotor versus a new one. See that cap in there in the middle spins on the tip of that thing, and it throws spark under this insulator out to this tip. If that breaks in there, I've seen a guy send me a picture, one was broken there. It was messing up his car's ability to spark well and start. And you can see the carbon buildup on that thing from all the arcing over the years. Probably the last clip of the night. I'm at 8% or less. Anyway, we got all that distributor stuff together, intake tubing stuff together, getting ready to put that air scoop on. We filled up the coolant system as best we could. We replaced this strut here. Getting ready to tighten up that top bolt. We put a Bilstein strut on this thing and a new control arm. I thought I had anti-sway bar end links, but I didn't. They are busted. But we did put new IPD heavy duty spring seats, and we put Sachs bearings in there. And we're going to sign off for tonight. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.